was pretty much doing everything. My brother was doing like the back end stuff. He built a website out. He was doing some of the marketing and bookkeeping, which he's not a bookkeeper, so that was not a good idea. You know, slowly but surely we were growing, and it was very painful growth. First like 5 years, I could have went and worked at McDonald's and made more money.
Welcome back to another episode of Intrepidus Podcast with your hosts Dan and Anthony. Today's episode number 38, we have Eric Wislow with us today from Above and Beyond Exterior Remodels. Welcome to the show, Eric.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Awesome. For sure. Eric and I have been working together for quite some time now. It's a real pleasure to actually get you out here. It's like pulling teeth, but we're here now. So while we have you, why don't you tell all the listeners and the viewers what exactly it is you do?
So we run a exterior remodeling company focusing on roofing, siding, windows. We do some masonry, some decks. Usually, if we're doing that kind of stuff, it's because we're doing the roofing or the siding. As like add-ins, we do doors, windows, stuff like that. So anything basically outside the house, not considered like landscaping. We'll do a little bit of hardscape, but like pavers, that's pretty much it.
Cool. So take us into your world of business. You've been in business for 13 years. Prior to that, you were an employee. So give us a little background on how you got started, why you got started, and what brought you to where you are today.
So in my younger days, I used to flip houses, and one day we were rehabbing a house, and my neighbor came over and was like, "Oh, how much would you guys charge me to do our roof?" And I had no idea because, I mean, I wasn't a roofer. I was a house flipper. So I asked my roofer, "Hey, what would it cost to do this roof?" We go over, we measure it. He's like, "Oh, it'll be like $5,000." And I was like, "Oh, we could do your roof for $7,000." And he's like, "Oh, when could you do it?" And I was like, "Hold on a second." Go talk to the roofer. I'm like, "Hey, when can we do the roof?" And he's like, "Oh, you're doing like 2 days." I was like, "We do it in 2 days." They're like, "Great. When, let's, what do I need to get started?" And that was the first roof I ever did for someone, not like for myself. And I started getting interested in like actually opening a remodeling company. And then I ran into an old friend of mine who happened to be a sales manager for a pretty big, older remodeling company. And he's like, "Well, why don't you come on and work with us for a while?" So they hired me as a salesman, trained me. That was like my roofing university, my old boss. He taught me everything about roofing and siding. It was one of the most beneficial jobs I ever had. And from there, I wound up leaving to go work for a friend of mine who owned a roofing and siding company. And he was a little bit shady. So I had sold a job, and I drove by the job, and they were using the wrong materials. So I was like, "Hey guys, this is the wrong material." Pulled it off, went and got the right material, and I was like, "You know what? I'm going to manage my own jobs from now on, because if I sell something, this is what I sell is what we're installing." So I wound up working there for about 3 years, and the crew taught me everything about install, how to install a roof, how to install siding, how to do framing, So it was another like very educational step in my career. Didn't make a lot of money, but I learned a lot. And then I decided, why am I doing sales and running projects for another company? And I thought it was easy, so I said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go do it myself." So I got with my brother, and we decided we were gonna open a company, and we opened Above and Beyond in 2012, and it was really hard. It wasn't nearly as easy as I thought it was gonna be. Like getting leads, and then selling the leads, producing the jobs. I was pretty much doing everything. My brother was doing like the back end stuff, like he built the website out, and he was doing some of the marketing and bookkeeping, which he's not a bookkeeper, so that was not a good idea. But slowly but surely we were growing, and it was very painful growth. So the first like 5 years, I could have went and worked at McDonald's and made more money, but you could see the
Potential.
the potential and the opportunity was there. We just had to figure out how to unlock it. So, a few key hires and a few, if you want to say strokes of good luck, where we got some big jobs where we actually made good money, gave me the wherewithal to stick with it.
Think it was luck, or you think it was a test to see if you could handle it?
We never know, right? The universe throws a lot of stuff at you,
So you said something about working on sides, what you forecasted, what you saw. You had to have something inside of you that believed more than just having faith, right?
Yeah. So, a couple things. I am overly optimistic. I'm a very I guess happy person. Like, I'm very content with my life.
I can't tell, you're smiling the whole time.
Yeah, and I've always been, and I always think everything's gonna get better. I try to always see the positive in everything, which is sometimes a bad thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't recognize something's should be cut off before. I'm not that quick to fire, slow to hire guy.
Got it. Yeah.
Which is the right way to be, but
Yeah.
I always give people the benefit of
We
the
literally
doubt.
were just talking about that.
Yeah.
Last episode.
Yeah. So, and I believe you don't want to say it's luck, but it's kind of creating your own luck, right? So I always think, if you stick with it long enough, things are going to go the right way. Like, everybody thinks everything's going to happen instantly. It's like, everybody wants to be an instant millionaire. Yeah, of course we do. Who wouldn't want to be?
Instagram tells you can be.
Yeah, exactly,
Sure.
right? And then, those are the people, you see somebody who just happened to buy Bitcoin or Doge at the right time, and all of a sudden they're rich, right? And they dropped $50K on some kind of coin or something, and it turned into $3 million. And then you see that person in a year, and they're working at like a solar repair company or something. So
Anthony hired him.
yeah.
Wow.
Anthony's like,
good,
I
guys.
have
Good
more.
I got a couple Bitcoin guys, actually. Yeah.
I have more ex-millionaires working for my company, but what I'm trying to say is the things that come easy go easy as well.
So like Anthony says, like, luck happens after you give it all. Right?
You create it.
You
Yeah.
create your
You
own
create your
Create
own
your
luck.
luck.
Create your
Yeah.
own.
And I'm a big believer in that. And that being said, the other thing is when you go through like really hard times, like there were times where I owed the supply houses like $200K and I had $12,000 in my bank account. And I was like, oh my God, how am I going to pay my bills? So, and look, now I'm in a really good spot. I'm definitely not rich, but like I have a good life. And now when I face hard times, like when something's going wrong, or we have a few months of sales are not good, or we get a job that we produce it and it just it didn't turn out the way we thought it was going to be. For me, it's like I've been through way worse than this. Everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think unrealistic optimism is an absolute necessity. It's an ingredient that's needed in order to bake the cake that is a successful entrepreneur, right? I don't think it's possible to have any kind of anything but optimism in your eyes and your thoughts and in your dreams, or you wouldn't be here today, right? 5 years is a very long time to eat shit, and as entrepreneurs, business owners, we continue to eat shit, get hit in the head with a shovel, and we still pick the shovel up and dig, right?
Yeah.
Year 6 to 10 to 15.
It could last. It can never.
It's
it
always,
can last
yeah.
forever, right?
Yeah.
But you don't know. It's all it takes is that one day, right? It could be 10 years of eating shit until one day you're eating caviar.
And the thing is this: even when things are good, you once in a while you get a client who just they make your life miserable. Especially if your goal is to make every client happy, which it should be if you're in business, right? Like client satisfaction is what makes you stay in business, you know? And once in a while you get a client who they were never going to be happy. You could have given them the job for free and they were going to find 50 things to complain about. And, you know, the longer you're in business, the easier it is to see those people coming. So it's like, hey, maybe we avoid this one. But, you know, when you do get them and you just like, you know, one of your questions, which I know you're going to ask me later, is what keeps you up at night?
Right.
This is what keeps me up at night. It's when I have a client who I could just not figure out how to make happy. Like I would rather lose money and have a client be happy than make money by cutting corners and you kind of like, I don't want to say burn somebody, but you know, sometimes things happen where you just got to say, hey, look, you know, I'm not going to make money on this one, but when I leave, I know I did the right thing.
But you still sometimes didn't do the right thing because they'll push the envelope, right?
Well, but you know, you morally, you did the right thing.
Yeah, I know.
It just wasn't to them.
You were always doing the right thing, but no matter how hard you go above it,
Yeah.
those are painful. And I see in this industry, I don't know how it works.
You can
in your
relate
world.
a lot. Yeah.
I can relate a lot. Fucking unbelievable. In this industry, what I've seen is over the years, like people don't inspect what they expect, and they have absolutely no fucking knowledge to what we do. You know, anything in the construction world, and you know they know better than us because their fucking cousin. They called their cousin. They showed their cousin a picture. Like, what the fuck are you saying?
Oh,
right?
Facebook I love when it's something I do every single day.
Yeah.
And then I have a client telling me, well, I saw on YouTube last night. And I'm like, well, why didn't you hire the person who made the YouTube video?
Right.
You know, this is what we do every day. And we're very big on training, on certifications. You know, we're like, I listen to 2 different just roofing podcasts every single day. Well, one of them doesn't put it out every day, but you know, and then I have a coach for, like, I'm in a coaching program for contractors. Yeah. So, and we go to like every training available to us, you know, and when you do that, you also, like, a lot of our competitors, you know who your good competitors are because they're always at the trainings.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, you know, we lose a job to somebody who we know is good. You don't care. You're like, hey, you hired a good company. They just, obviously they did a better presentation, or, you know, maybe they were a little more cost effective than you were, but losing out to somebody who you know is good, do you care about that? You know, it's like, you know, it's part of business.
Yeah, we had a guy on earlier. He's like, hey, listen, as long as you use somebody like us, you know, not those other guys, you know, that'll make them happy. And, you know, people are getting the right thing done, you know?
Yeah, well, sometimes it hurts when you see somebody's like, oh, I hired somebody that was $20,000 cheaper than you on a $50,000 job. It's not the same job.
I say good luck. Call me to fix it.
Yeah, well, or it's not the same job.
Exactly.
So then, honestly, part of why we're upset when something like that happens is that means we failed in explaining to you what we would be doing for you.
I think some people don't even fucking listen. Honestly, you're telling them everything you need to tell them. 80% of people shopping today, and I think there was a statistic, it was like 79 point something, shop on price, not on value.
Mm-hmm. But
so no matter what
is our job? As a contractor, our job is to build value.
Right. But I'm saying if 79% of people are buying on price, not value, you're only reaching 21%, if that makes sense.
Well, so a lot of times when I'm speaking with my salespeople, right? You know, it's always like, oh, are we too expensive? Or, oh, everybody's just buying on price. Well, guess what? You got like 2 of the biggest contracting companies in the United States are like almost double our price. So how are they doing almost $1 billion in roofing and siding, and they're double our price? What are they doing differently?
Financing, commercials, trust. It's like that Renewal by Anderson.
Renewal by Anderson.
I get people telling me how much they're getting quotes for fucking windows. I go, are you kidding me? I put an addition on your house. Price. Holy shit.
So
how many times are they putting them in and out?
And they're shit windows, aren't they?
No. They're good windows.
They're good, but the fucking price
They're
is
good windows, but
astronomical.
you could get the same quality window for half the price.
Crazy.
if not
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. But at the same time, they built that value.
Yeah, they built their brand, their marketing, all that shit.
And listen, part of our job is making the homeowner comfortable with what we're doing. So if you're dropping $100K on your roof and siding with me, you want to know when we finish that roof, you're not going to have a leak, right? If you do have a leak, that we're going to show up and we're going to address your problem. And same thing with your siding. When we finish the siding, like if you're dropping that much money, you want people to drive up and be like, "Oh my God, your house looks beautiful." Mm-hmm. So part of our job is establishing like, "Hey, this is what we're going to do for you. This is why you want to use a company like ours to do it." And, I know not a lot of people, they have a wish list much bigger than their budget. So sometimes you do like a takeaway and say, hey, listen, I know you wanted James Hardy siding and, a synthetic slate roof and, but it's just not in your budget. You can't afford it. So what can we do to get you as close to your dream as possible?
You tell people they can't afford it.
I was just gonna say, I hope you don't tell people.
I hope you don't tell people that.
It's not in your budget.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. You're broke. You can't afford this.
Your fucking dream is bigger than your wallet, motherfucker.
Well, and I actually have clients who are like, yeah, I can't afford it,
Yeah. Let them say it, not you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think we're smarter than that. Well, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say you stole my question about going to sleep. What keeps you up at night? So what keeps you driven?
What keeps me driven?
That's a great question.
Yeah, that is a good question. So
You inspired it, so I should be thanking you.
He had to think of a follow-up question
Yeah.
because you stole his question.
well, we were talking about like you gave me exactly what keeps me up at night.
Yeah.
Like it was like I ran right into it. And I had just been watching one of your videos out in the waiting room, and you had asked him. So I was like, oh,
He knew what was coming.
yeah. So I knew what was coming. So what keeps me driven, I guess, is my want to be able to lead the life I want to live. I'm not you know me, I'm not a fancy car guy. I'm not a fancy house guy. I am more of I just like to know I'm good no matter what. Like I've had like the last 4 years of my life where I don't worry about things like, oh, we need, my water heater went or my furnace goes. And it's like, oh, we need $7,000 to fix this. And it's like, oh, okay, here you go. I don't worry about stuff like that anymore. I don't worry about making payroll. I don't worry about, paying the supply houses. I have a very peaceful existence. What's that?
Even keel. You just
I'm
go
very
with
even
the
keel.
flow.
Yeah,
You like to go to Costa Rica.
Yeah,
You
I
own
travel
a house
a lot.
in Costa Rica. If I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Yes. I mean, it's not a nice house, but it's a house. And and we're already planning, our retirement. We kind of, that's where our money goes. We're like, hey, we'll buy our properties in Costa Rica and buy properties here. I want to build out a rental portfolio again. The market's a little tough for that, but I know I was listening again to the guy that you had on, not before me, but whoever was playing in the waiting room, and I was like, oh, he had some good nuggets on him. So
It was Constantine.
Constantine, that was his name.
55 doors. Yeah.
Yeah. That was
Young kid, 30 years old.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, what keeps me driven, I guess, is my future. Building out for my future so I can maintain my peace of mind.
So, based on your talk and your thought process, personal development obviously plays a role in your life.
Huge.
How has it impacted you, and how much is it a participator in your day to day?
So I started one of the things that changed a lot for me is once I got a routine and I stuck to it, everything started getting better for me. Like I almost never go out anymore, like to a bar or anything like that. You know, once in a while, but when I was younger, you know,
You like to hit the bar spot?
yeah, I used to party and everything. Now I have like a routine. Like I'm usually in bed between 10 and 11. I'm up by 5:10 at the latest, usually before that. And I'll wake up. Right now I'm studying French. I speak Spanish fluently. So, and I just decided to start studying French. I know Anthony asked me one time, why are you studying French? I
I see you on Duolingo.
Yeah.
French.
Yeah, so I try to do like 45 minutes to an hour every morning. Drink my pre-workout, then I go to the gym. Get out of the gym by usually 7 a.m. I'm usually ready to go to work, you know.
Nice.
And depending on what's needed of me, I'll either be in the office or on one of the jobs if the guys need me to get going.
So creating that has helped you a lot. Being a part of that, of giving yourself time first thing in the morning, what does that do for you? Because that's huge. I do the same thing.
Oh, it just gets your mind like, I mean, for me, it gets me relaxed. It gets me in like the zone. Like I know some people get crazy at the gym. I go to the gym and it's just like, you know.
I work out early. Like I get up 4:30, work out. I listen to usually podcasts while I'm working out, just to, you know what I mean? I'm not listening to like crazy ass music.
Yeah,
I still
me too.
pump the same way. I don't need to go crazy. I got enough shit in my head to make me go crazy in the gym, but I don't think people know nor understand the importance of giving yourself to the world before the world takes you. So many people wake up, the minute they wake up, they're on their phone, you know, they're answering emails, they're doing all this shit. They're waking up 15 minutes before they got to walk out the door. Like that just creates fucking chaos in your day. But when you wake up early, I mean, you are setting the tone for your day. You're allowing yourself to get ready. And then literally, like, by the time you're walking into the world, it's not even ready for you.
Yeah.
You know?
And a lot of it is prioritization as well. Like I used to be like, if someone would call me or text me, if it was 11 o'clock at night, I'd be returning their text.
Yeah.
Sundays, I used to work every Sunday. So like I was almost never off, and it drove my wife crazy. Like, I mean, she used to get pissed. So I started I was like, well, I have to do this. And then I was like, wait a minute, do I really have to do this? Or if I wait until tomorrow morning when the work day is actually, on, would it make a difference? And it really doesn't, you know?
Well, it does make a difference because you don't make yourself available to people and they don't expect it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I did this a long time ago. I used to work on the weekends. I used to work after hours. I told my staff the same thing. Like, why are you working after 5? Why are you answering text messages and emails? Like you do that. The minute you do that, people think you're accessible 24/7. But if you literally strike like, this is when I start, this is when I finish, catch me, back on Monday or whatever, like it gains respect and it also creates an identity for you and for people to respect your time. You know what I'm saying?
And yes, and another thing is a lot of times it's like, if you write me at 9 o'clock on a Friday night, what am I going to be able to do for you? Nothing.
Right.
It's that's you just trying to assert yourself and show that I'm gonna give in to whatever you want.
Unless it's me.
You are writing that?
Oh, I'm always
Always.
messaging him at like Friday night, Saturday morning.
I figure that's when you woke up.
At 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're an asshole.
So
Yeah, but you're not emailing customers. You're emailing your team and you're emailing people who work for you, right?
Internally, yeah. Sometimes I email customers, only like big fish.
Yeah.
Big clients where I'm trying to close like, a 5 megawatt deal that's going to, extend over 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
That's worth, 150,
For me too, I'll respond to my team at night. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, your
I go to
team
bed
is
at
a
like
different
9,
thing.
9:30, 10 maybe the latest. But like, if I'm hitting the computer real quick so that way when they wake up in the morning and they're at work, they've got my response and that's when I'm doing it. But I'm not no customers.
I text my team. Like I try to text my team every night, and also I'll text my clients. Like let's say last night, around 7 o'clock, we had 3 jobs starting this morning. I text all my clients, good evening. Just to let you know, there's going to be a dumpster and material being dropped in your driveway tomorrow morning. Please have the driveway clear. You know, you could expect us to arrive between 7:45 and 8 o'clock. You know, and that way, you don't get your client who's like, oh, my car's in the garage and you blocked my car with a dumpster, or you know, or oh, I forgot you guys were coming and I need to do something. You got to move this, that, and the other thing.
Why aren't you automating those texts?
Yeah,
I was waiting for you.
I knew you were gonna. You looked at me like, you gonna ask him?
Because I'm not Anthony D'Angelo.
That's right.
But I mean, you could do it on any platform.
You know what? I
You can
probably
get a Google number or something. You know what I mean?
So I guess to automate those texts, I could probably hook something up to my CRM, and then I have to have like
Triggers.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's very
on it,
easy.
I am not a
Why wouldn't that
tech-savvy
why
guy.
wouldn't that text go out on Friday so that they can clean their driveway out Saturday and Sunday?
because we work on Saturdays, so sometimes like we don't finish a job, like we think we're gonna finish on Saturday afternoon. Like it happened. We were actually supposed to start another job this morning, and we didn't finish. So Saturday night, I texted people and said, "Hey guys, hey guys, we didn't finish today because Saturday it like rained. I think almost the whole day.
Yeah.
So we weren't able to finish, and we're gonna start your project on Tuesday.
Yeah, talk to this guy. You got to automate that.
Oh,
told- I
he's
told him-
he's the master of that stuff. I mean,
I
SOPs.
told him, let me look under the hood, but he's I'm busy.
Yeah,
busy.
SOPs. This guy's he's amazing. So
Yeah, it's important because number one, it's your personal cell phone number. You know what I mean, that you're dealing with, and they're now expecting like, oh, he messaged me 9 o'clock on a Saturday. I get this guy anytime. You know, and if you're trying to get yourself,
we actually messaged through our CRM,
okay,
so everybody in the company could see.
got it.
It's
yeah,
a recent change, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we just changed CRMs. We're actually not thrilled with the new one, but it does have a couple features. Like one feature where I could see who my guys are texting, and they can see who I'm.
Weren't we talking on the phone
On the way to
about this?
LaSalle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see the guard.
So that's
guy.
a really cool feature.
Yeah. I
Um,
don't know if Builder Trend has a text one. I know it has an email one that we use. I don't know if
Yeah.
it has a text one.
yeah, I've never used Builder Trend. It's more for builders. It's more for people who do,
Yeah.
20 big projects
yeah.
than 300, average size
We're
projects.
very email-y company. Like we like to email everything. That way everyone can see it. We try to stay off text because then people, they try to avoid email. They try to call people's cell phones, have conversations. So-and-so said this, so-and-so said that. Everything's in email. There's no confusion.
Yeah, we do email, text, calls, all three.
Yeah, we
If we
do,
do a
we do
call-
all three as well. But
If we do a call, we do a follow-up email, like based on our conversation.
Mhm.
We always do that.
so, like, I don't know, you know what Slack is?
Mhm.
We were actually thinking about getting like a Slack channel because then to create more accountability, because I see sometimes there's a disconnect between production and sales, or the office like doesn't know a job started, so they never sent the start of work invoice. So we're still working on stuff like that,
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard getting involved.
And
in,
I'm
CRMs.
like I said, I'm 13 years in business. We've come a long way, but we have such a long way to go.
I mean, homie's ready to retire, so he's doing good. He's ready to go to Costa Rica.
Not
Got
yet.
the house there already, so you might as well. So you said there was 5 years of eating crap and it was real terrible. I'm curious if you had the opportunity to go back and talk to yourself, 12 years ago, call it. What would you tell yourself 12 years ago to avoid those 5 years of misery?
One of the things I probably would have done is said, have more value on ourselves, because we've always been good at what we do. I used to think it was like paying your dues, but it wasn't paying dues. We were working too cheap, And when you work cheap, you're gonna do one of two things: you're gonna cut corners, or you're gonna make no money. And I didn't like to cut corners, so I made no money. And the positive part of that is you're constantly learning, and you build out a nice portfolio. But I used to work for this old man who was a builder, and he said, I don't do this for practice. So
I love
he
that.
goes, Yeah, so he would say, you know, if you're not making money, why are you doing this?
Mm.
You know, I don't need practice anymore, you know? So, and you know, over time we've started to see like where our numbers have to be, because it's also like, you know, you think you're making money on something, but then all of a sudden you realize you're paying workers' comp, you're paying, you know, general liability, workers' comp, payroll taxes, you know, regular taxes and marketing, and you know your cost. You see what your cost per lead is, and you're like, oh my god, how does a lead cost that much money? And people don't believe it either. Like people don't understand. Like, you know, sometimes you're at $200, you know, cost per lead, and people are like, no, there's no way. And then they run their numbers, and you're like, oh my god,
Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah, it's true, yeah. So, you know, there's so many factors that people don't account for. And, you know, when people are hiring those companies that are $20,000 less than you for the same job, it's because those people aren't paying for those things.
Right.
It's like, yeah, if I don't have to pay workers' comp and general liability, I mean, you know, I could definitely cut off a nice chunk off your
Invoice,
Off your bill,
yeah,
for
off your
sure.
bill. And if I don't have people in the office, you know, filing away, keeping your records, filing your registering
warranty.
your warranties, you know, I could even save you more money. And you know, if I don't have a project manager on your project, I could even save you more money. So it's like, you know, all these things that add value also add to the price.
What?
And-
Oh, go ahead,
Yeah,
sorry.
no.
No, there you go.
No, I was gonna ask anything. I was just gonna input.
Oh,
no
so
one
what-
wants to hear me talk.
why would somebody want to hire your company
There you go.
versus your competitor?
So I think people would want to hire us maybe because we like to specialize in things. So we do a lot of specialty work, like wood shake. We still do real slate. We still do real Spanish tile. There's not a lot of companies that do that anymore. We also do a lot of synthetic slate shake and Spanish tile. We're certified by Da Vinci and Brava Roofscapes. So both of those companies, we do a lot of work with them. We also do like hardy plank siding. We do real wood shake siding. So a lot of our work is in the higher end, like more custom jobs.
So let's say there's another guy who's just like you. What's differentiating you from him? And if I were going to be your client, why would I want to hire you? Not because you specialize in something, because Anthony specializes in it too. But why do I want to hire you? What value you're going to bring me that he's not?
Well, without knowing what his company is, it'd be hard to say because he might be a fantastic company as
But
well.
if you speak highly enough about your company, in my opinion, you don't need to know about his company. So why would I want to hire you?
Well, without being able to differentiate, because I don't know what his company does or what. So they specialize it, we specialize in it. So I have a large portfolio of projects we've completed. We've got very good Google reviews. We've got certifications from most of the higher end manufacturers. And, you know, we pride ourselves in giving you the project that you want.
Yeah, I was just wondering if there's something that stood out, like you being a part of it, a certain guy being a part of it, or like certain thing about your company that you do that you know that some people aren't doing.
I mean, listen, the people who do what we do are usually really good contractors because what we're doing, like a lot of times I'm spending like, we just did a project where our material was like $300,000. So if you're dropping $300K for roofing and siding material, you better damn well know what you're doing because if you don't, that could put you out of business.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I would say like most of the people with the confidence to bid a job like that are going to be good contractors. So a lot of times when it comes to something like that, it's going to be more of who you feel like you're connecting with. you know, you want that client to be comfortable with you, because we might both be building you a Lamborghini, but I might be doing it with, saying, hey, you might want, I don't know, a different, a larger engine or this or that. And they might be going the other way. So it's like, we're both going to give you a good product, but how are you going to get to that end product, and what's it going to be when it's done? Neither of them might be wrong, but it's what suits you best. I don't know if I'm explaining that properly.
Yeah. My question is a little bit different, because if you're giving me a Lamborghini, he's giving me a Lamborghini, it should be the same product at the end, right? But what's the service that I'm getting, right? So you can go to a red carpet Lamborghini dealer, or you can go to a regular Lamborghini dealer. Like, why would I want to choose this dealer over that dealer? What I'm trying to say is, like, there's got to be a quality for a company which makes them stand out, that they would know about. Like our last guy on here, like, he knew what his company offers, how they offer it, and why they would stand out. So I think if people ever ask you a question like, why would you hire it? I'm going to give you the same product. We're all good. I mean, I don't know.
It's like why I buy from Ray Catena. I won't buy from any other luxury brand dealer except for Ray Catena. And it's because the experience that I had there, right? I went there.
The same car, right?
What?
You're getting the same car.
Your same car. It doesn't even matter. Any kind of Ray Catena branded dealership, they sell all types of shit, right?
Yeah.
Lexus, Mercedes,
Everything.
BMW, so on and so forth. But I'll never buy. I had one good experience, and it was different from the rest. And it's because they put customer experience first, where like dealerships are typically don't. They sell you a car, you go into a service center, it's completely disconnected, right? You don't get the same level of service when you walk in the door and get greeted by whoever the salesman is, get your coffee, get your whole nine. I'd rather the opposite. They greet you at the door, take your keys like a chauffeur, and they guide you in. They have coffee ready for you. The experience is completely different. So therefore,
they're selling an experience, not a car. Yes, I get that. I mean, maybe I'm just giving other people too much credit.
You are.
But I just feel like anybody who's doing stuff like this is probably doing the same thing. Like, we do renderings for our clients to make sure, like, we want to make sure you understand what you're getting. When we finish, this is what we're going to deliver to you. And, I get involved in a lot of our projects. We still do regular roofing and siding, but I would say it's about 50% of our business, and 50% of it is the high end to even ultra high end.
Yeah, I got it.
I think it's more so your pitch would be like, you seem passionate about like the higher end stuff.
It's one of the things like we're known for.
Right.
Like, people will call us and say, hey,
you did so and so. It's beautiful.
We're either recommended by one of our neighbors, or you were recommended by the manufacturer. And I get it all the time, like, where people are like, "Oh, I've had 3 people tell me that you guys are the guy I should be using for this job." And not everybody cares about that, because then like you said, what is it? 81% of people are shopping price instead of
79. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're one of those 79%, that's probably also not the product you should be shopping, because that's how you end up with a $550,000 crappy job.
Here's an example. Like, you do cedar shake siding.
Correct.
So why would we understand when we're planing the siding, the importance of making a tight cut, like certain things, like there's an edge, there's a competitive edge to you that your sales guys have, that, you know what I'm saying? Like, why? Because some guys will you'll see cedar shake siding, it's not planed properly, you know what I mean? And you see the gaps, they don't look right, so there's an important feature.
So your woven corners are not woven properly.
Correct. And you've seen shitty work versus good work.
Of course.
I got a fantastic sales pitch, but I'll save it for later.
You could give it to me if it's
I'll give it to you.
So, I automatically assume anyone who's bidding that job is going to do it. So maybe again, I'm giving too much of the benefit of the doubt to the other contractors, but yes, like, we're going to We're going to make sure your woven corners are tight. We're going to paint all of our cuts to make sure, when you look at that, it's like a seamless transition. We paint all of our cuts on tops of windows. Like when we put our drip cap in, we make sure everything's nice and tight. But I automatically assume everybody's doing that.
Yeah, you can't assume that.
Definitely can.
You can't assume that. You have to create the red carpet experience for your company.
I actually just finished ripping off corners at a job at like a $5 million house in Westfield where all their corners were crap. So we ripped all their corners out and redid them. So I guess you're right. Not everybody cares,
Yeah. I get the question often, over time and being in business for 20 something years, people go, why would we want to hire you? And I'm not bashing the next guy. I don't know what the next guy does, but here's what I do. Here's what you're going to get from us. And, I have that step process of what we deliver. Like you might get asked sometimes, like, are you going to be on the job? No, you're not going to be on the job. You have a project manager. You have this, you know what I mean? Like, so you have those answers set up. So that's your red carpet experience. Like, you're going to get a dedicated project manager to your job. We're going to make sure things are done right. You're going to get automatic, emails and text messages letting you know and, keeping you informed about your job. So like, we keep customers informed, that we make sure that the customer's hand is held throughout the process, something like that. Like, you know what I mean? People are going to ask you this question. I'm sure they have, but maybe haven't answered it the way. But I just know, being in business for so long, people want to know this shit. People want to be fucking spoon fed, bro. And how are you spoon feeding me versus the next guy?
Yeah. And maybe that's something I need to work on. Like, because when you're just a salesperson, that's like what you're like, all your coaching is going into that.
Close.
Yeah. Yeah. Close, right? That's all. That's what you care about, right?
ABC.
Always be closing. Yeah. Now, and I'm in the stage where I run a lot of the hard projects, or at least I put a huge amount of time into them because I want to make sure we're delivering what we said we were going to deliver. And again, here's the other thing where we were talking about before, client expectations. Like, I just had a project where the client got upset with my project manager for the way some things turned out. And when I went out there to meet the client to go over everything, I was upset with the way things turned out. But it was two small things that if we would have set expectations, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. Like, there were some pavers with some divots in them. It's a manufacturing like defect, if you want to say defect, but like the supply house says, hey, this is the way the pavers come. Like, all pavers are going to have some minor imperfections. Like, they get air bubbles during the manufacturing process. It might cause a little right. hole. Now, they probably wouldn't even have cared about that. But we had a piece of crown molding that was crooked, and you could see it was crooked. You could see it was crooked.
Yeah.
And there was no reason for us to have left it like that. And so, I mean, I had it torn off, and we redid both sides. It was on a column. So I had it torn off. We redid the columns, repainted the columns. Now the people love us again. But I wound up eating 20 pavers because of it. So, and it all started with the imperfections in the pavers. Like, I feel like if I would have set expectations properly.
Yeah, one mess up creates more. It's a trickle down effect, and then create a list.
And looking,
and then they look into everything.
Yes,
and which it's like you said before, always inspect what you expect.
Yeah,
because everybody is suspect, right?
Correct.
So
beautiful. Well, if someone's looking for a roof, I know it's getting to that season. Well, it's pretty much that season right now.
It is that season.
If someone's looking for anything exterior, how do they find you?
They could find us online at aabroof.com. They could always call the office. I don't know the number off the top of my head.
You should know
it. Yeah, I know. says AAB office.
All right. I'll put your personal number on the posting so everyone.
Yeah, and I don't want to
kidding.
give my cell phone number out because
definitely don't do
I
that.
used to do that.
Don't do that.
No more.
Okay, great. Yeah, it was a pleasure having you on.
Yeah,
All right, yeah.
thanks for coming on. And hey, guys, if you're not following us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, go ahead and do so.
Please subscribe.
And
Talk soon.
I thank you for all the coaching advice while we were on here.
More to come.
Absolutely.
Bye, guys.